So in this video, I'm going to outline a 5-step framework that you can follow to get to $10,000 a month in revenue with Amazon FBA. Alright, so by the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to find a product that fits your budget, what you're going to need to do at each step of the journey, and you'll be able to do it much faster because you'll know exactly what you're looking for. Alright, so step 1 in the framework is to save enough money to properly launch a product. Now this might seem a little bit obvious, but this is probably the single biggest mistake that new Amazon FBA sellers make. So they drastically underestimate how much money they need to launch a product and actually keep it in stock so that you've got something that's producing $10,000 a month in revenue month after month. So let's imagine you're building a house. So you can buy all of the materials, you can buy the bricks, the cement, the plaster for the walls, and then you buy the land to build everything on. So you hire a team of builders to start constructing your Amazon FBA palace, but then 2 days into construction, you run out of cash and you can't pay their wages. So these builders are going to pack up their tools, they're going to go home, and then you're left with a half-built house that you've sunk a ton of cash into. So this is exactly the same thing that happens when you don't understand properly how much money you actually need to launch a product properly on Amazon. So a good rule of thumb here is that you're going to need at least 80% of your target monthly revenue. So that's going to let you actually launch the product properly, keep it in stock, so that it produces profit month after month. All right, so in order to get to $10,000 a month in revenue, you're going to need at least $8,000 to invest. Now, this is going to pay for your stock, your marketing, your photos, your listing design, everything that you need to do this properly. So if you don't have this amount, then you end up launching a product, it goes really well, then you run out of cash and you're left with that half-built house. All right, so I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, I don't have that much money right now. But what you're going to remember is that you're going to need a good few months of learning the ropes and doing product research. So in that time, what you should be doing is saving as much money as you can to invest later on. Also remember that you don't actually need 100% of your budget up front. So unfortunately, the truth is that if you've only got a couple of $1,000s, you're really going to struggle. What I'd recommend if you're at that stage is focus on learning as much as you can and continue to save so that you can actually find and launch a product and do it properly with a proper budget in the future. It's better to wait and save more money than it is to do it too early when you don't have the proper budget. All right, so step 2 in the framework is to pick a niche that aligns with your budget. So our target here, right, is $10,000 a month, and we've got a budget of around $8,000 saved up, so we know we've got enough. But then which niches should we be looking at? So what you want to be doing here is picking niches where the top 4 or 5 sellers are doing a maximum of $15,000 a month. Another huge mistake here is people will aim to do $10K a month, but they'll launch a product into a niche where there's sellers doing $60,000 a month or more, which it just doesn't align with their budget. So you might be thinking launching a product and then running out of stock in a week is a good thing, but honestly, it's not. So the goal here is to build a proper sustainable business, not just launch products, run out of stock, and then rinse and repeat. If that's what happens, then you're never going to build a proper brand or a proper business. So you've got to find niches that align with your specific budget. And the best way to do that is to find niches where the top sellers are doing at most 50% above what your target monthly revenue is. But the reality is when you launch a new product, you're rarely going to outsell those top sellers. So if you're looking at a niche and there's 3 people doing about $15,000 a month each, and we know that we want to do $8,000 to $10,000 a month, then we know if we launch that product, we're not going to match their $15,000 a month. What we're going to do is we're going to come in a bit under that, so we'll probably hit our $8,000 to $10,000 a month target. So this is the perfect kind of niche for us according to our specific budget. Pay close attention to the revenue of those top sellers. If it's way above what your budget can afford, then stay away from that niche. All right, so step 3 in the framework is pick a niche where you can easily customize the products. So the key to any product being successful on Amazon is being able to stand out. And in order to do that, you've got to be different. And in order to be different, you've got to try and customize or create something new. So if you want to customize and design your own product that's made from plastic, for example, that's going to be expensive. So we've just spent $10,000 on this plastic injection mold, which is for a completely custom product that we designed from scratch. So when we launch this product, we're expecting to do between $60,000 and $100,000 a month in revenue, but we can only do that because we've got the budget. But if you've got less than $10,000 to spend, then customizing plastic products with your own molds is probably not the best option. No. So what you need to do then is you need to focus more on products that are made from textiles or from wood. So it's much easier, faster, and cheaper to customize a backpack than it is to customize a massage gun.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
So this is where you've got to get really creative. You've got to pitch your ideas to your suppliers, ask them if they've got an in-house design team, or hire someone from Upwork or Fiverr to turn your ideas into designs that then you can pass on to your supplier. And don't forget that you don't always need to reinvent the wheel, right? Most successful products, they just take an existing design and then they make it better. So look at a niche where there's plenty of room to improve the products. If the average review rating in the niche is 4.8 out of 5, then you don't really have much room to work with. But if you look at the top sellers and their average review rating is 4.3 or less, that means there's plenty of customer feedback that you can look at, and then you can use that to customize your own version of that product. All right, so step 4, pick a niche where people are more likely to spend more money on something premium. All right, so let's look at 2 different products. So the first one is these sink organizers. So this is a very functional commodity type product. So people don't really buy stuff like this based on how it looks or how it's going to make them feel when they use it. They really just want something that does the job and it doesn't cost them a fortune. So if you've got 2 of these next to each other and they pretty much do the same thing, but one of them costs $30 and the other one costs $25, then people are almost always going to go for the cheaper option. But then we've got products like these sneaker travel bags. So people that buy these, they're sneaker fanatics and they really care about how they look. They're generally fashion conscious people, and this is a product that they're going to use in public. So niches like these, they're generally way less price sensitive. It's not a product that people buy and then they just throw it under the sink and they never think about it again. If a sneaker fanatic looks at these bags and they think they look cool or they look fashionable, then they're going to imagine themselves feeling good when they use it. So this is the type of product where people will generally pay more if something seems cooler or if it's of better quality. They're generally a little bit less price sensitive. So this basically gives you the opportunity to create a really cool brand that stands out to someone specific, like these sneaker fanatics. It also allows you to stand out versus the Chinese sellers that you're going to be competing against. And it also means that you can sell products that are higher ticket. So really what you want to be doing is selling products that are at least $40. So anything under this price and you're going to get eaten alive by PPC and by Amazon fees. Creating something more premium, it means that generally you don't have to compete on price as much. You can be a little bit more expensive than your competitors because this is not just a commodity item like the ugly looking sink organizer. So at this point, you've really got to think about 2 things. How can I stand out visually? And how can I improve the functionality of the product to offer more value to the customer? If you nail both of those things, then you're onto a winner. All right, so step 5 in the framework is to properly launch the product. There's so many great products and brands on Amazon that have got terrible sales because they simply don't understand how to properly launch a product. So there's a few simple steps that you need to be doing at this part of the process. So the first one is in-depth keyword research. So you can use a tool like Data Dive or Keyword Dominator to analyze your competitors and build out a list of your most relevant keywords. So from these keywords, you're going to build your listing, your title, your bullet points, and then you're also going to create your PPC campaigns. So then you need to forecast the amount of sales that you think you're going to do, and you're going to make sure that you've got enough stock to do that and then stay in stock. So remember, the goal here isn't to order 300 units, launch it, stock out in 10 days, and then be like, well, what next? Being out of stock is really bad for any Amazon product. It kills your organic ranks, and Amazon's algorithm, it just doesn't like it. So in order to have a successful $10,000 a month product long term, you really need to launch and then avoid stocking out as much as you can. So at this stage, you always want to adjust your pricing. You're a brand new product and you've got no reviews, and you want to drive as many sales as possible, because if you want to rank above your competitors organically, then you've basically got to do more sales than they do. So if your target price is $35.99, you want to launch a lower price to really improve your conversion rate and to keep that sales velocity as high as possible. So if you follow this framework closely, you should have a product that fits your budget. It isn't a commodity. It's easy to customize and create a great brand around, and you should be ready to give it a proper launch so you can hit that $10,000 a month in revenue. So now you got to go and find that first product. Go and check out this video here where I did 40 minutes of live product research.